Hello, hello. Today is June 1st, 2025. Going to talk a bit about the news. There's been a lot of talk about Elon Musk lately, his exit from the government. And what's interesting about this is that I'm looking into fractals. And what everyone can agree on is that fractals are out in the nature around us. Basically, all you have to do is ask yourself, why are there fractals in nature? A self-similarity of a tree and the branch and the branches of the branch. Why is it like that? And does it in any way have to do with other things that are more abstract, like the world stage? And quite quickly you will come to the conclusion that yes, there is a fractal self-similarity, but when you go there thinking these kind of thoughts, it is not encouraged, because this is something that um, basically puts a lot of power in the hands of anyone, like using an interconnectivity that is having this consistency of of like that of a fractal, where you see a small Mandelbrot within a bigger Mandelbrot. Seeing this self-similarity is very much like this idea of as above, so below, as within, so without. Seeing, I see a part of myself out there in the world stage, quite a lot of it. I talk about it, and I paint it. So, the last three paintings basically have been blatantly obvious that it's been connected. So we had the Myanmar earthquake I painted 8 hours before that earthquake, and there's been a noteworthy interconnectivity to my painting there, like 8 hours before it happened. Yes. And so there are videos about this. But today's video is about Elon Musk, I guess, and the way that he is symbolizing this power outage in Europe on the 28th of April. There were a power outage, 50 million people in Spain, Portugal, and southern France. This is something that I painted 4 days before it happened. I cut the cord. You see the painting up there, number 1. But there seems to be a fractal self-similarity now, because Elon has to do with electricity via the Tesla coil, Tesla, and via Elon, electricity. He leaving, and there's been a lot of news about cutting the ties, and I start to think about cutting the cord and cutting the ties, quite self-similar way of saying things, and this is what's been in the news. And someone actually commented about this in the comment section, like someone reminded me about, and I love that kind of thing, because it means that this is a correspondence with real people that I'm having, that you remind me about something that that is true. You remind me. It's a great thing. I love that. Okay, it makes this all worth it. So Yes, someone reminded me about Elon Musk and this situation of cutting the ties and the Tesla, and the electricity being removed from things. Okay, and so yeah, and then a few hours later, I don't know, maybe half a day or something like that, Elon Musk got a black eye. And I want to remind you here that this is not about any conspiracies here. Let's go with the story of Elon Musk. Why not? Elon Musk talked about his son hitting him in the eye. Why not? I would say. You could also have some kind of conspiratorial thoughts, but I recommend not. And the reason why is that it fuels hatred and disempowerment, and it fuels hate. I mean, hate will lead to blindness. When it comes to me, I see a lot, and I intentionally don't look because of that. I don't look at things because I want to limit. But there's another thing to uh, to look for. Like looking for conspiracies is something that helps you to find the evil to hate, and that's something that puts puts the evil as something outside of yourself, which is a way to not be humble. If you look too much for the evil outside in the world, you forget about yourself. Um, so my second painting, like these are like the previous one I did was this cutting cord. You see it up there, right? And then I did this infected eye, or like blood conjunctiva, has to do with the eye. So, so I find it so fascinating how Elon Musk now got this eye, and I see it like interconnectivity to what I painted, and I think that's amazing. And yeah, sorry. So yeah, I see interconnectivity here to what I painted, and it's like the way that someone else reminded me about the fact that you see down here that Elon Musk is exiting from this and that, together with his he's symbolizing this electricity from his name, but also from Tesla. These things was reminded to me by someone else, and then later this happened with a black guy, which connects to this, to my second painting. This is amazing, and it's wonderful, and it is these kind of things that I do is not encouraged because by you know um, by the money. People will money basically the money and the physical power, right? Physical power don't like to be um, have a competition. Okay, so what this is like, having an idea of this fractal reality is competition. It is suddenly a new thing. And yeah, it's like if you look before this painting with me cutting the cord of the network, and I tell you this is going to become true the 24th of April, 4 days before it happened in Europe. The one before that was Myanmar, right? So it's getting more clear, all of this. So what also what bothers me, or what I can think about also, I have to get back to my a bit of you know my irritation about censoring, and my irritation of intellectual dishonesty of channels that do look at this kind of symbolism, but they ignore what I do, and it is systematic, and you know it's so weird because it's so obvious what's happening here. And so, as I said earlier, I consider most probably many of my listeners to be what I consider to be traitors and liars, and all these words. Yeah, or that's like quite literally what it is. It's traitors, it's liars, it is dishonest people that are able to look at what I do and then just ignore it. It's because it's something that you never seen before. This is how do you say? Um, this is I don't know what to say. And it's sad that it has to be like that. But then again, how does the world um, relate? How does the world relate to something that it has never seen? How does it relate to a phenomena that has never happened before? What I'm doing here, the way that I'm saying that this is happening, because I'm telling you also that this isn't entirely prediction that I'm doing. No, it is me seeing a potentiality and becoming an actor like a butterfly effect. That's basically what it is, because when it comes to what is possible to do, it is impossible to predict the future. It is too much chaos. And you can see that in something called the three-body system. Three bodies circulating gravity, and you cannot possibly calculate their future position. It is impossible due to the chaos of multiple bodies in movement. So yes, predicting the future is impossible. But what I do is that I see a potentiality, and I can basically take advantage of that. And this is the fractal reality. Like the self-similarity itself becomes like how would I say? It is. It means many things. Wait a moment. A lot of sound outside here. So yeah, fractal reality means many things. It's a sign of life itself. Like the fractal nature is a sign of life itself. And you can see that in the way that femininity creates children that are self-similar to itself. You know, imagine for a while that you never have seen life before. What is it? Well, it is something that reproduces and becomes self-similar. And this is a phenomena that you can see stretching in time itself in the news, which makes me think that, like, this world that we're living in is alive, like it's a living being, because you can access these things in it, the fractal nature itself. And so this being of everything, which, yeah. So I think that's so interesting, the way this works, and the way that, for me personally, how I'm getting better at these things, and am able to show you that this is a real phenomena, something that no one has seen before, and it makes it hard to relate to. This makes it hard to relate to what's going on here. But um, this is why. This is why. Yeah. But yeah, I can't stop thinking about all the traitors and all the liars. Basically, it's something that is on my mind a lot, and I go around by myself and thinking about how how stupid everyone are, basically, because of the fact that people choose to lie and people choose to be dishonest, and they go like this, and they live. This is how to supposedly live a decent life, is to lie about what's in front of you. And this is a reality for most of the people here on my channel, that you listen to what I do, you never seen it before, and you, like, many try to just, you know, how would you relate to this, because it's like, it's hard, and I get it, it's hard to relate to something that you have never seen before, right? Like something that is supposedly impossible. But what I'm confident is that, yeah, I will be able to continue to paint things that resonate a lot. Of course, I try to do that also, and um, it's um, it's so interesting, to do this, and the artistic experience that I feel when I do this is a great feeling to me, and this whole thing, when I'm painting something, it feels a certain way, it feels good, basically. And um, yeah, and that's how it is. So that's all. Just a little summary of what's going on here. And it is a fascinating coincidence that someone that has to do with, like, the memetics around Elon has to do with Tesla. It has to do with electricity. And him cutting has this resonating effect with what the blackout in Europe and in Cannes Film Festival later on, um, which were in the news, like news focus, and then the black eye occurred. And as I said, there is no need to think about conspiracies here. Um, this is not. This is like the wrong way of thinking. For me personally, also, because I'm I'm so deeply involved, it feels. But like, let's imagine for a while that you would have conspiracies. Well, it could be like, oh, some president got angry and made a black guy, like that. And but I would say, for me, it's fine. It's probably his son, like he said. Why not believe what he said? So that's how I see it, and I also see that this is like attracting, the way that reality is like poetic, and it appreciates someone painting and trying to do what I do. Like, it's like this being of reality not enjoys, but it appreciates that I do this, and then it fulfills things like this, to make it more beautiful. The whole story of how the world stage is evolving. Um, okay, guys. So it's hard to relate to what I do, because it's simply something that you haven't seen before. Why is it like that? Well, it's because I tell you, when I paint, I tell you this is going to become true. I do like that, and then it kind of become. This one was literally becoming true. We'll see what happens to this one over here, right? It happened a lot of things around this. This one is not as blatantly. This one is not blatantly um, true yet, but this one, it's blatantly true, and the one before that also. And I repeat, it is impossible to predict the future as being uninvolved in what's happening. Like, let's say this note over here, I want to predict that this is going here in the future. Well, the best way is to, like, okay, yeah, I blow it over here. I blow it over there. I maybe I never touched it, but it's like this is due to the fractal nature. It is what am I trying to tell you? Like, the true nature of reality is a fractal. Grasping this fractal puts you closer to the initial conditions. And a system of chaos is sensitive to initial conditions, which means that you can very easily affect what's going to happen if you're aware of the fractal nature. Okay, so that's basically how it works. And then how to get there, for me personally, it's like planets are standing in on the line all the time. It's like I'm lucky to see things, basically. I'm lucky how I perceive things. And so for me, it's easy to see the holism and do these paintings and get closer to the initial conditions, initial conditions of chaos. The chaotic systems are sensitive to the initial conditions. Knowing a system properly gets you to a step ahead, right? Being a step ahead. And then suddenly it becomes very interesting, all of this. And that's where it is right now. Like, Many things have become true. Some of them are not blatant, as I said, but this one is blatant. The one before that is pretty blatant. And I think it's going to be more blatant things. And that's pretty cool, you know. I think so. And then again, I have to stay strong up here, and I have to be aware that there are traitors, there are liars, there are. That's how it is, and I have to simply be aware of that and adjust to that, how it is. But yeah, let me end the video now. See you guys.